Hello there, ladies and gents. Welcome to one more live. In today's live, I want to talk about figuring out who you are, and I know that's a super confusing subject for many daughters and sons of narcissists. They have no idea what they feel, who they are, what they like, what their preferences are. They're so used to worrying about what other people think of them or how they're being perceived from the outside or even by an audience in their head that they're disconnected from their inner wisdom. Now, before we get into that, I just want to let you guys all know that I am launching my English version of my online program for daughters of narcissistic mothers. And it's a program that I run in Brazil, and I've been doing it for a while, and I want to launch it in English now. And the point of this program is that you're going to, it's basically for people who have discovered narcissism and they don't know what to do. They are confused as heck. There's so many voices in their minds. They really don't know which one to listen to. They feel guilty, they feel angry, and they need someone who's been through this and who has solid information to help them out in the individuation process, which is basically learning how to trust yourself. And we're gonna learn a little bit more about that today. If you're interested in this program, I am launching it at beta group prices, so it's going to be like half what I'm going to charge later on. And I want to start a small group by the end of this month. And if you're interested, then let me know. Send me an email at info@tarianarocha.com.br or go to the link in the description, and then you're going to get more information on that, and you can leave your email there as well. So, having said that, when it comes to figuring out who you are, you have to take into consideration, if you are the daughter of a narcissist, that because of repetitive gaslighting, your mother kind of made you believe things about yourself that aren't necessarily true. Remember that gaslighting means to tell a lie so many times that eventually the other person starts believing that it's true. So because narcissistic mothers want to undermine their daughter's sense of individuality, they will actively plant little seeds of self-doubt in their daughter's mind so that they never actually trust themselves enough to become separate individuals. These daughters will always be starved of maternal approval, and they will kind of like even let mom think for them and define what their personality is, because they don't want to lose the little attention or the type of attention that they do receive from their mom. So what happens to us is we create a false self. A false self basically is you lived in an environment when you were a kid that was super unstable, and you could never guess when there was going to be an outburst or some drama in the home, and the rules were always changing, and there were double standards. So no matter what you did, you were always like walking on eggshells. Something bad was always going to happen. And what children do is they develop mechanisms to be accepted by their parents so as to appease them and not set off any rage or any sort of reaction from their parents that the kid will not know how to deal with. So you end up creating a false self, which basically means you hide lots of parts of your personality so as not to set off your mom, and then you forget who you are. You never develop who you are because your emotions aren't welcome. Your perception of reality isn't welcome. If you don't agree with her or with the family dynamic, you're not welcome. And what happens is you create this persona, and you don't even realize that you actually have this self-image that is way off. Your nature is something completely different, and the things that you want to live and experiment are completely different from what you imagined. And I'm going to give you some examples of how we create these masks, and we're sure that we're these people when truly we're not, and it was all a defense mechanism. So one example is the man-eater who wants a relationship, that femme fatale who's like, I don't need men, I'm powerful, I'm this, I'm that. But deep down inside, she yearns for intimacy and connection and something long-term. Or the career-driven loner perfectionist that actually wants a family. Another example, the loner or the superior one, right, who wants friends actually. She wants belonging. There's the martyr who dreams of freedom. I think this is particularly popular with daughters of narcissists. You learn to believe that your worth is in what you sacrifice, but you really just want to like not feel overwhelmed and full of resentment all the time because you have to do stuff for other people when they should be doing it for themselves, you know? There's the tomboy who's actually like a delicate flower. You know, she becomes all tough and traditionally masculine to protect her delicate femininity. So this is rather an invitation for you to get in touch with these parts of yourself that maybe you've rejected, that somewhere along the line you learned that they weren't for you. You were not going to have them. You learned that you weren't going to get married, have a partner, or have friends, or have a career, or whatever it is that you think you learned about yourself. This is an invitation for you to think about that again and ask yourself, is this true personality? Right? And there's many different ways that you're going to figure out who you are. And I'd like to, take a few other things into consideration. In this whole process of figuring out who you are, sometimes it's a lot more important to simply make decisions and deal with consequences and build yourself from that than it is to like be sitting wondering if that, what if I make a mistake? What if I choose this, but I'm actually that or this? No. Something that Marie Forleo says is that clarity is produced in action. That's not exactly, clarity comes from engagement. There we go. So sometimes you need to just like break free from the fear that keeps you paralyzed and you don't make any decisions, right? And then you just need to allow yourself to make some decisions so you can taste your own power, so you can taste making decisions and knowing what it's like to operate from an individual sense of self, from the perception that, wait a second, you have the right to live life according to what you decide. Okay? So that's what I wanted to tell you guys, and I actually want to ask you a question. Did you identify with any of the personas that I described here? Is there part of yourself that you've been neglecting, that you've been rejecting, that's actually part of your true self? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your comments. I cannot reply to all of them, but I learn so much with you and I get lots of ideas for videos as well. So one more time, if you are interested in the English version of my beta group for daughters of narcissistic mothers who have just found out and are completely confused, don't know how to heal, what healing actually means or what to expect, then take a look at the link or send me an email at info@tarianarocha.com.br and I will be happy to give you some more information. If you like the video, then like it, share it. It might be useful for someone else. You can subscribe to the channel as well. I will be making loads of videos in English, and so we can have a conversation about any sort of subject you want. And I hope to be helpful. And if I don't know something, then I like to do research. And since I work with this in Portuguese, I have access to so many people who are daughters of narcissists, and it's a pleasure for me to bring you any sort of information that might help you set yourself free. So thank you very much, and see you next time.